To an episode of Leaving the Pack. Today I have with me are my in-laws, and as a, I guess, homage to Father's Day, and since you're visiting us in Clearwater, I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you while you're here, and learn more about you and share your stories with people that are listening. Um, and also just for Anaya and Luca to have, and Sophia and Ava to have a nice recording of their grandparents. So as I said, I know you through Michael, obviously. And you have so many grandchildren actually in Texas and here, and I think they'd love to hear your story. Some of which I know, but I'm also excited to hear more about. So, what you may not know is we ask all our guests the same first question.
Okay.
So the podcast is called Leaving the Pack. So I'd love to hear what that means to both of you. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay, you want me to go first? Well, my first pack was many years ago, actually 50 years ago in Cuba. So for me, leaving the pack was very difficult. It took me only 10 years to get to leave. So it's a long time waiting, sometimes because the Cuban government would not allow me to go, sometimes because the North American government would close the exits, for whatever reason. I left in March 1970 from Cuba, and I never went back. So you can ask me other questions about it.
And you?
I came here in the United States in 1969 because I married an American girl. I started in Jacksonville, Florida. America was a country with a lot of opportunity for those that they are prepared. They had a study of experience and something like that. It's very much appreciated because there are few people, they needed more people than they had available. So I was always very welcome. I did it very, very well. That was one of them. It's a matter of fact, more than what they say, you are just like us. Maybe not all the foreigners look like me, but but they took me like one of them.
Mm-hmm. I think Michael always jokes that people would tell you, like, you look just like an American, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Don't open your mouth.
It was one time that we were driving from Texas to Florida, and we were from Mississippi, crossing through Interstate 10. I had to put gas. I was with a kid. So I go over there, and was people with the Ku Klux Klan.
The Ku Klux Klan had one
dress
with the crosses, burning crosses.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
And what year is this?
This was Michael was about 6 or 7 years old.
So 90.
So you stumbled across a Ku Klux Klan
I got
meeting?
Full gasoline. No. They were over there exhibiting, that they were there. And Michael said, Dad, go put gasoline. Don't say anything.
Don't open your mouth.
Don't open your mouth.
And how old was Michael at the time?
About 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, even as a kid, you understand that.
The dangers of
being happy, I just put gasoline and leave. But I never was afraid of them. But I know they do bad thing.
Yeah.
Because not only they were very racist, but they also was against foreigners.
Right.
Maybe, because people don't understand that foreigners come over here because this is the lack of opportunity.
Yeah.
And people that came from other countries, especially like me, European born, come prepared. And we are competitive and we are decided to do well. Anybody that go back over there vacationing or something is not successful. How come? You went to America, why they didn't elect you as president? You know what I mean? So anyway, the thing in America, there is no discrimination here. But you need people or minority of those who emigrate over here for one reason or another. You need opportunity to show what you can do. And then because you are very competitive and you want to be better than anybody, they become that they don't care how you look or your race or your accent. They want your performance.
But you came right in the 70s.
In
1969. And you came in 1970, Abuela? Yeah, and so, and you both came under really different circumstances,
Yes.
right? So, Abuela, you were talking, or I call you Abuela now because Luca and Anaya, but I also call you Mamita and Papa, so I'm gonna go there since the kids aren't here. But, Mamita, you came from Cuba, so do you want to share kind of the circumstances in which you left?
Oh, yes, Fidel Castro really came in January 1st, 1959 to Cuba. And at the first, the whole nation adored him. But very soon.
And you were a young girl.
Yeah, I was very young. I was born in 1946, and this was, 13 years old. But I was old enough to understand what was going on. And then what happens is he will sell himself that his revolution was green like the palms, and then he wasn't communist and all these things. Very soon, he changed his way and started. I even went to teach people how to read. He had a campaign to alphabetize the whole nation, and a lot of Cubans did help in that. I was only 13 into 14, and I went to La Sierra Maestra, which is a pre in the mountains, to teach the farmers how to read.
Oh, wow.
And
as a 13-year-old.
And that was one of probably the best things I remember. The most satisfaction that you can get is later on, I was in La Sierra Maestra, I was at home with my parents, and see some of the people you taught how to read come and get a newspaper in your house and read it.
It's an amazing feeling.
That was an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
So, but everything was from bad to worse with Castro. And very soon, a lot of people were leaving the country already, and he will close the exits of the people, and then you will have to wait 2 or 3 years, and then a little bit of people will get out. So it took me 10 years to get out of Cuba.
Wow.
And I was coming here to the United States with my sister.
But you also came under different circumstances, right? Because you knew someone in Castro's family. So you have to share that story.
Yes. I was a good friend since I was in pretty much elementary with Dulce Maria Castro, which is Castro's niece. And her father, Ramon Castro, was his brother.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to be with her. She was a good friend to me. She actually, when I went to university, she also was in the university with me, and she knew my political ideas had changed. So she knew they were going to try to frame me. And
I think I remember you used to say that they would frame you by having someone you trusted.
Yes, and then
come and talk to you.
And then she knew who the person is. So she comes one day. So you had an insider. She comes one day and tell me, so and so is gonna come and ask you to be, because I had good grades, to belong to the communist youth. And you have to be careful and just think about what you're going to say.
So she didn't even tell you really what she wanted you to say. She wanted it to still be your choice, but to know. Be my choice and to know. But I always appreciate her friendship because, that was something. It's a tricky place for her to be too. To be a very tricky place because she had problems herself as she had her aunt Juanita Castro here in the States. Sister of Castro. Yeah. And she was again her brother. And then this Juanita will write her letters. And they will open the letters and they will censorship. Yeah. Before she received them. Yeah. So she was being basically checked too. Right. Even if you, and then the thing about her father, Ramon, was a very nice guy. I don't know how he's even alive today or not, but the first time I went to university, he took us in his car. And then I remember asking him one question, because I was very much in the church, Catholic church, and for me it was very important. And I thought, well, do you believe in God? I asked him. And he said, yes, I believe in God. And I say, well, how could you believe in God and be in the communist government? And he said, because nobody can impede me from when I go to bed to pray to God.
every
Were you
night.
nervous asking him that type of
No,
question?
I-
At that time, you just didn't think that there would be
I
consequences.
know I wasn't afraid because I trusted him. I think, I even met Raul Castro in his house,
Huh.
but I knew he in his inside was not a communist.
Yeah,
And he also was a good person.
right,
So he will not, reveal the
right.
conversations that we had.
So then the person that she told you would ask you, did it happen just as she said it would?
It just happened just like she said it would.
And what did you
And he
say?
was a young guy. I forgot his name, but it's been so many years now. But he did ask me that question, and I told him the truth. I say no, I don't want to be communist in the communist Jews. And he said, why? Because I say, well, because I think I'm gonna leave this country.
Mhm.
And that was, and then after that conversation,
And at that time, did you really know the consequences?
Oh, I
Like
knew.
of what would happen?
I knew.
Well, that's very brave, right? To be
I
able
was
to,
brave, but not only was brave, but I knew that there were students in the medical school especially that were commit suicide
wow,
because of the things that they did to them were so awful.
oh gosh.
And they will tell you like in a public judgment, and then they will start saying things to you and you couldn't defend yourself. And
Yeah.
They were not true,
they
Yeah.
were not true. And then
accusing you of things.
so I knew the consequences. So that I had a good friend that she was from a different province. Her father was the owner of had been the owner of a refrigeration company. And this guy, one time once she was not asked to be Jews, communist Jews, but he came and told us that he told me if I didn't belong to the Jews, they would put me in jail.
Mhm.
And he actually gave a lot of threats. So this girl that was with me, she will take the bus home, and we left the university just shaking
Yeah.
when I told her what happened, and she was afraid to go to her house. So we went to my aunt's house, that's where I live, and I told my aunt, we were crying, both of
Oh, I
us.
bet.
And my aunt didn't want to even let us go to the door because she really thought was gonna
They're gonna come get you.
come and get
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
And then what happened next?
And then after that, they just, they didn't kill me or anything, but they didn't allow me to go to school anymore. So
Wow.
that was the end of my university time over there.
And what year were
And
you?
hers too, my friends too.
Oh, wow.
So what year was this? Okay, so it was about 1965 probably,
Okay.
just around 1960, yeah, because I finished high school in about 1964.
So you're about like,
1964.
you're about 19.
About 19,
Okay.
yes. Because
And-
in Cuba, high school was 5 years, not
Okay.
3 like here.
And so then what was next for you?
So after that, I couldn't go to school, government schools or anything like that. I just only pretty much be home in my parents' house. But I had a good friend that she is Jewish, and she was going to an embassy, a school of the Embassy of France in
Mhm.
Cuba. It was basically the Alianza Francesa. So you could only go to that school if you have a reference from inside the Alianza Francesa. And she get that reference for me. So
Oh, wow.
I started studying French.
Oh,
So that was and I studied there for about 3 years
oh, wow.
until the government closed that school too. So that was the end of the study in Cuba.
And then what happened?
And then after that, I had to wait until I was already trying to leave the country. But my sister was about 9 years old around that time, my youngest sister, and she was supposed to come to the US and stay with me. But what happens, I finally, when the exit from Cuba came, that was very impressive too for anybody. It was really scary. The actual Ministry of the Interior will come to your house.
Mhm.
Military.
But they put you in a concentration camp before
Oh,
this?
that was before, yes, I
Okay.
forgot. I was
Yeah.
6 months in a concentration camp. I do agricultural work.
Okay.
But I got sick. And then I happened to go to what they call a polyclinic, which is a small type hospital. And the doctor that saw me happened, for God's sake, to know my grandmother, which wasn't even in that area. That was in the province of Matanzas. My family was from Cienfuegos, which is another province, and I lived in Havana at that time. But this lady knew my grandmother from before. So when I went there, the doctor helped me out. And she said that in the report she wrote, she said, I was really having problems with, which now I do after that I have problems with my getting morados, como se dice, like, in all the body, hematomas in all my body.
Oh, wow.
And that she suspected that I have a disease called purpura.
Okay.
But it wasn't true. She knew she was exaggerating, but she was trying to help me. So after that, they took me out of the concentration camp and they sent me to another place in Havana to work. This place was a place where they punish engineers, architects, anybody that wanted to leave the country. And so all the people that work over there were already professionals. The only one that was not a professional was me. But I told them I knew how to draw engineering drawing. So, and I did know, but only on pencil. These guys helped me to learn how to do it in ink, so they will not throw me away from that place. So that was the place.
And how did you know how to do engineering drawing?
Because when I was in the university, I started the first year for engineering there. When I went to the university with Dulce Maria Castro.
Right.
But then after that, some of us start going with a private architect, taking lessons of how to draw.
Okay.
But he taught us only on pencil. We didn't know in ink.
Yep.
So that was the reason we knew how to draw. I wasn't the only person. I have some of my friends that did the same thing as me.
And so then, what was it like when they came to your door to tell you?
Well, that was really terrible. You see all these military people, about 2 or 3 of them come and get into your house, get in the kitchen table of my aunt. I was living with my aunts. So they come in and they bring with them a lady from the neighborhood that's called the committee, the Comité Central. So this person was the spy of the neighborhood, okay? She will know who was against Castro, who was in favor, what everybody did and everything. But she happened to know me since I was a kid. So she comes in with them. And then when we are talking about the first thing they told me, your sister cannot go with you. She stays. So that was the first really bad news that they gave me. The second thing is they finished the interview.
And that was Patricia, right? Was she
Patricia.
all ready to go?
Oh,
and,
yeah, I have a legal
9 years old, super
legal papers
excited.
from my parents and
Yeah.
everything, so she had to stay. So, but
And
that
they
was
didn't tell you why, right? That's part of like the mental torture.
no, they are God over there.
Yeah.
They tell you what is going to happen, and there's nothing you can do. And then they come and tell me, "Where is your car?" And say, "What car? I never had a car." And then they say, "Oh, no, I don't even know how to drive." So they say, "No, in here it says that you have a car, and in order to go out, you have to produce that car." So I didn't know what to do, but that lady, goosebumps, because that lady immediately defended me.
Oh, wow.
And she said, "No, I know her since she was a kid. She never drove. She never had a car."
I wonder where they even got that from. Just with
They
the
were
stress.
No, they wanted to stress out and maybe to stop me from leaving.
Yeah.
So then she defended me, so they couldn't do because they were writing everything.
Yeah.
So then finally they say, "Okay, where are all your possessions?" So all my clothes, even underwear, anything that I had, shoes, anything I had to bring out. They only allow you to bring to the United States the clothes that you had on and 2 more changes.
Wow.
Of clothes. Everything else had to stay, and they will take it away from your house.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, because
Yeah.
who was going to wear somebody else's clothes?
Especially your underwear. You're like, let me take that at least.
So anyway, so they took everything and then they took me out and they took me to a place, an office first. And then see, I didn't depart from Havana. This was happening in Havana. The airport when I left Cuba is called Camarioca. And then it was in the province of Matanzas. I don't know how many miles, but let's say 80 miles from Havana or something like that. And then I went to that airport and then waited the whole night and they search you and everything before you go. And then after that, the next morning, the plane that was provided by the United States, okay, will bring the people to Miami. But the last view I have from Cuba, I never came back, was out there. This was a small airport and they had one of those peerless fences. The last thing I saw in Cuba was my aunt, her boyfriend, in the fence outside,
Wow.
seeing me leaving.
Oh.
And then that was the last time I ever saw her.
Oh my gosh.
Spain.
And then you landed in Miami,
In
right?
Miami.
At the Freedom Tower?
In the
well, you landed in
No,
Miami, but did they
yeah,
take you to the Freedom Tower?
Yeah, and that was really, well, first of all, we landed in Opalaca Airport.
Mhm.
From the airport, they took us in a school bus to the Freedom Tower. And then in the Freedom Tower, they will work on your paperwork and things like that. And then your relatives were already knowing that you will travel. I have an aunt in Miami, which was the one that claimed me. And then my cousins, and they were waiting for me outside.
And I think I remember you saying that you had like one of the best ham sandwiches of your
Oh,
life.
yeah. Oh, yes. Well, I have not had ham at that time for at least, I don't know, 8 or 10 years.
Yeah, wow. And Abuelo, you or Papa, you came under totally different circumstances.
Yes. Because there was an American base in Spain. There was this young girl that was living with their parent, that was military. We met, and then later on, what happened that she probably increased many times like that.
Yeah.
In 1967, and this 67, she went over there and we sit together. She was, why don't get married and go to America, Oh, well, I got a good job in Madrid and I'm happy here,
So you were already working?
Yeah, working, yeah. After military service, I started working in international consulting firm, engineering consulting firm in Madrid. The one was a year, then you was seated, you come and then I got have a choice. Marry her over there with the Catholic church in the ceremony in the La Macarena, who is a famous church over there in Seville. And then back to live in Madrid with her, but Spain was not America. She could not find a job. She think that she could be a job because she had.
So you were married and then she came to Spain to look for a job first?
No, we married and we live in Spain.
Yeah.
But she could not find a job over there
And what
because
was
an
she
American girl
looking?
that, educated, but in English would be good.
Explain that she spoke Spanish.
Oh, okay, she spoke Spanish. And what type of job was she looking for?
Patricia spoke Spanish.
Yeah, she spoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she working in an office. Try to work in an office. Try to see American people work. Whether you are working all the time, you find wherever you go, you want to find a job.
Yeah.
But there was no opportunity for her there, and then she was just almost. And I was afraid that she would come back to America and leave me over there in Spain with Franco, a dictator. I'm associated with a Catholic church, and if I got married in Spain and then she come over here and leave me alone, no, I'm gonna marry. Again, because there was divorce didn't exist in Spain,
Yeah.
it was not allowed. Nobody, could get a divorce there. And I thought I had to go because I be here, married with no wife.
Yeah.
I know good family will take me to marry
Sure.
anyone on their daughter, So
So it was not your plan really to come to the United States?
what
It wasn't really your plan
No,
to
it was
come
not
to
my
the United
plan. It was
States?
just I got into a situation where she couldn't find job and
Yeah,
she
and
was
then it's kind of
Yeah,
the only choice.
I want to be here alone. I got to go to United States. We heard to see what happened, and then we came here. We came to Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah,
Was she based in Florida?
she was living in Florida.
Okay.
Yes, I'm before that. We went over there. I'm soon. I found job in engineering firm. I'm over there. I do very well. People like me a lot. She has some kind of mental problem. She was unhappy. She was schizophrenic sometimes with attacks, things like that. She was complex, why I was so successful and like me,
Yeah, it's
and she
challenging.
could not. But she got a job as a typist in one being the film, and then when the next year, because we came in January and the school year had come,
Mhm.
the next year she was teaching in Germany at high school level, and then she found a job. But
It probably put a lot of stress in the early years of your marriage.
yeah. So anyway, she, for example, in I think 69, 70, 69, the 70, 71. 71, Julio 71, summer. She will get it, he prepared to go with her parents, the last day teaching at school. She just will drive home. We will drive with her to see her parents. I'll be there and come back the night before the school year.
Mhm.
Traveling, I went to see her. It was kind of I don't know, difficult situation.
And did you feel like her family, did they accept you
No,
or?
the only thing that she will tell them bad thing, and she never fight me. But the people wanted when I came over here, they even call my job that they love me because I did a good job and I'm
Yeah.
very competitive and they really like me a lot. They called it, they wanted to deport me. They could not do that because I came with a green card from the Madrid,
Yeah,
consulate, American consulate. So I came, but they called it, we want to deport him, something like that.
Can I say something in her favor?
Yeah.
This is a person who is mentally ill.
Yeah.
Okay. But also remember that was a time in the United States where women would not find jobs that easily.
sure, yeah, because we're talking early,
It's
late
79, 69.
69.
So then she feels she's an American, she's a woman, she's a very, not only she's a teacher by profession, but she's also have 2 languages besides English.
Yeah,
And she couldn't find a job.
yeah,
So
there's frustration,
that frustration and her disease
of course,
to,
yeah. And then so I get the timing right, you both met actually in Georgia Tech, right? And what year is
No,
this? No?
we actually met in
Miami.
Miami,
Miami
but
Junior College.
we were not friends or anything.
Right.
Just remember, I was the only girl
Yeah.
in an all male school.
Yeah.
So pretty much I had a lot of male friends.
Where, at Georgia Tech?
No, in
Miami.
in Miami, everywhere.
We
I
got
went.
an associate degree after engineering.
We got a 2-year degree.
Okay,
Only.
got it.
And then he went his way to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
We always dreamed Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech was
I mean, still, for engineering, Georgia
Yeah,
Tech
very
is
important
like the
in
dream
the nation.
school.
the
Yeah.
dream school. So then we met again, or
Yeah,
in Georgia Tech, we went together, different classes though. We never Georgia Tech, by the way, was a school for boys only at the time.
and you were one of 2 women, right? in
Yeah,
your
no,
class?
we were this year that I went to Georgia Tech was the first year they ever had women in Georgia.
Wow. And what year was that?
And this was in 1973. Yes, the first year. Actually, they didn't even have a dorm for girls, so they had to rent an old house that was
They're
terrible.
like, we're gonna put you 2 here.
Then there were just a few girls there too.
Yeah,
But then they put us there, and then they have the really nice dorms for boys. Finally, somehow we got lucky. The girls got lucky, and they took one of the dorms of the guys and put it for girls. And then that year, there were a lot of girls, but most of the girls that were in my dorm were people very rich.
yeah,
I mean, girls that at that time will drive a sports car.
Yeah,
That wasn't happening.
Rich
Right.
family.
Yeah.
Very rich
And
family.
many of them not even in engineering, in other field.
yeah. So it's unbelievable to come from like another country and then be a woman and then enter into a field in which
Mhm.
women in general
Exactly.
are not even,
Are not
you know,
even.
really part of it.
Well-
And even still, like when you were in the workplace, even up until your 70s, you were one of the only women
Well, let me
there
tell you
too.
one thing that this is important to be in this conversation. Backing up to Miami-Dade before I got my degree, I entered in a class because English composition.
Mhm.
And the professor, when he saw me in the class, he said I wasn't allowed in the class.
Oh,
He didn't want me in the class because I was a female.
wow.
So I said, well, you have a very tough luck with my broken English because this is the only class they offer at night,
Mhm.
and I have no choice but being in this class.
You're like, and you also have no choice because I'm staying.
Yes. So anyway, I stay in the class and I got a B plus. That for a broken English girl,
Yeah.
that was pretty good.
Yeah, of course.
And
Great
he
effort, great
and
effort.
he apologized.
Yeah,
at
wow.
the
Yeah.
end. Mhm.
It's so funny because I always, people always ask me, you know, when they talk about mother-in-laws, I think there's always such a stigma. They'll always be like, oh, do you have a tough mother-in-law? And I'm always like, I have the toughest, but not in the way that you think, because you hear your stories about like, you have had to almost fight at every turn.
Uh-huh.
And even still, even in the time that we knew each other, which is like later in your career, I still remember you saying, like, even though you had years and decades
Yeah.
worth of experience, that there's still, even in this modern time, like a stigma of women doing engineering.
Well,
You know, even
look
though
at-
you broke, you know, barriers for many, you know, it's a
Not
field
only
in
that.
which it's male
But look at-
dominated.
No, not only that. That wasn't enough. We got married. I went to work for Tennessee Valley Authority. I I started working. My boss was really very military type of guy. So, but anyway, engineers will also usually will have one or two draft people under them to do their drawings. You know, so here I am. I got this all, I still remember his name, Bill Cave was his name, was my draftman, the only one I had. And Bill Cave was really a very nice guy with me. And then one day after I was 2 or 3 months, you know, working with him, I asked Bill, how can I'm just a more junior engineer here? And I got the best draftman in the section.
More experience.
And the more experience, he was, you know, what they call an SE6 was the top of the line of
Yeah.
That level of-
for that level of drafting. And he said, because I was the only one that wanted to work with you, with a
Ah.
woman,
For a woman engineer.
for a woman engineer.
Yeah, wow, incredible.
Amazing. So all the other ones didn't want to work for a woman.
I also remember you telling me a story that when you were pregnant with Michael,
Mhm.
that there was no women bathrooms on
Oh,
your
no,
floor.
oh, no,
So
I
you had to like go up the elevator, right? Or wait for an
Yes.
elevator or stairs anytime you wanted to go use the
Yes,
restroom.
they have like a woman, I think every 2 or 3 floors. This was the government of the United States. So it's because TVA was part of the government.
Yeah.
So, and then I had to go, and then when I was really, really pregnant, you know, the secretary of my section, since I had to go up and down the stairs, when she saw me running upstairs, she would run after me because she was afraid I could fall down or
Oh,
something
wow.
can happen to me.
But incredible, because they
Incredible.
really didn't have to make a women's bathroom in every floor, because just that's how low the population was in the building.
Right. And plus also they didn't think they wanted to promote.
Promote, yeah, didn't want to make it comfortable for you.
No.
So I'd love to hear from both of you, like, you know, living in Tennessee. I know that we've talked about it, but sometimes you think like the South and being an immigrant could have been a tough kind of transition, but it sounds like almost the opposite. I feel like you both felt really
Yes.
welcomed,
Yeah.
right, Papa?
Yeah, my first job, were interviewed by the Tennessee Valley Authority recruiters in university. We had different offers, but this one TVA offered to both of us. So we say, well, this is the way we go marry and go to work for them.
Yeah.
It was easy for us. So anyway.
And had either of you been to Tennessee before
no,
that?
never.
No.
No, yeah.
So we went over there and Loretta started first. I stayed during the summer because when I came to America, in the first engineering field I worked, there were people that went at night to the junior college. It's because you can get engineering degree you want. It's a matter of fact that I have for you technical school in Spain, but when I was start going to study start with algebra reviewing, I had a tough time with the problem when they were working, not with fraction or things like that, but because you had enough English to know like flipping a coin, something like that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Normal conversation.
My dad actually failed the English entrance exam to the United
Yes.
States 9 times.
Wow.
Because, and I have to give him credit for being persistent.
Sure.
But he said he'd always fail on like almost like
Because they
American
put
words.
tricks.
Yeah.
They would discriminate
So
your
they-
enemy.
Yes, they would say-
English was not a real English, was a slang.
Yeah, so I remember one of the words he says that he would get wrong was like pie. And he's thinking like 3.141, and it was pie to dessert, and he's like, we don't have pie in the United States. And he's like, there's all these words
Yeah,
like that, and it's English, sure, but it's not like proper British English,
Yes.
like the
Yeah.
slang really
Mhm.
got him. So he had to take the exam 9 times.
Yeah.
That
And,
would be
yeah,
surprised.
it's-
That was
it's-
very-
And it's always like 1 point, and it would be some word he'd never heard of,
Yeah.
but
It's a matter of fact, when they started working in Jacksonville in the engineering firm, they was doing a structural building, and there was a drawing with a lot of change, reinforcing bar, a lot of thing over there, and I understand perfectly well. I change the size and whatever it is. And then there was a don't delete that. No, delete this note, and I wrote delete this note because what was over there, all the changes.
Yeah.
You check that. Yeah, everything is perfect. But
he's like, you didn't delete the note.
because I didn't
understand
the
what it
meaning
was.
of over there.
Yeah.
Over there. So anyway, then we get my first job in TV. I went to the nuclear site. We want to build a nuclear plant over there, Spain nuclear plant.
And for those that
He-
don't
he's
know, you
interested in-
both were nuclear engineers.
engineers.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went over there. I'm arrived over there, and there was not only that the head, 3 or 4 people and the head of every department of engineering, and then one of I was very close to the number 1 over there in the site, engineer, the boss. I'm everyone there. He say we need to do a road to go to the site where we want to put the reactor. And I say, Hilda, I said, do you have a survey? He said, yes. Yeah, I got a survey.
Mhm.
Can you tell me if can I see? They say, do you have a drawing? Can you bring a drawing table here, a drafting table here? They say, yeah, we can do. About paper. No, we can bring paper. They didn't know they had previous experience many years, 4 years. I did just hire me as a level 1 engineering.
Yeah,
I was college.
right.
I was college, went through college recruitment. So a program. And then, so I was the only new engineer over there. I got the drawing, I got the section and the profile, and the second low part of the drawing, and I start calculating things, I say, the curve, and I say, why you come as a level 1? This is a level 3 job. I said, because I was hired through college recruitment, I got
Mhm.
years of experience in engineering and things like that. They okay, you can do for me. They say, in 6 months you are 2, and in 6 months we are 3. So anyway, but then they realized that we live in a place between the nuclear site and the headquarters of TVA in Knoxville, Tennessee. And we had to meet I had to start 1 hour earlier and leave 1 hour earlier. So we had to walk about 40 or 50 miles away. So what happened is that
Yeah, because all these nuclear sites are usually somewhere really
Exactly.
separate
Yes,
from
yeah.
everything.
And then they say, I would like to transfer to this division. That was division of construction. She was in division of engineering design. So can you change? He said, sure, we like to help you here. They would love to have you here.
Yeah,
But so anyway, they call over there, and then immediately I went over there. So we just stay for a while in Morristown, Tennessee. But then we just a few months later, they go to Knoxville,
Mhm.
close to the
Can I
site.
go back to Europe? You made a comment before that we were expecting, when we got to Tennessee, that people were very nice to
Yeah.
us. Well, this was a different America, okay?
Yeah.
This was an America when we bought our first house in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we just didn't have any furniture yet or anything. Somebody knocked at the door, and this is a lady full of food,
Mm-hmm.
and she had brought us
Like
dinner
the Southern
dinner
hospitality.
for the night.
Wow.
And I say, well, thank you. We just, we didn't thank her enough. Surprised, and they say, oh, this is not all. Every day of this week, a different neighbor is bringing the dinner for you.
Yeah.
So that was a different.
That is so almost unheard of
Unheard of
now.
now.
Yeah.
If you go to Tennessee now and you're an immigrant,
Yeah.
they wouldn't treat you that way anymore.
And how many years were you in Tennessee?
12 or 13 years, yeah.
Okay.
From 77 to
89,
89
was a day.
89, 90, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
And then you moved to Crystal River, Florida.
And then what happened that they start canceling some of the nuclear site because
Closing
there was no
reactors.
need
Yeah.
to have a remote. I guess there was no energy to say we put a nuclear plant aside, people will come because they will offer to the industry very cheap power.
Yeah.
Power is important.
Sure.
But what happened that they could not justify.
No,
how
they
many-
also had rules that you couldn't have, let's say,
That was one of
5 or 6 reactors in an area. You couldn't sell your electricity to a different
to
state.
another state
Okay.
until
Got
the
it.
law changed. The law changed too late
Late,
Yeah.
because
when they already had cancer.
because Tennessee Valley they have seven states around. Tennessee Valley is the whole valley. They have 7 states, but Texas would like the power. Where we get the power, but you could not go to the directly through other states.
Mhm.
Then the law changed. You can say to your neighbor, what they produce, the power they produce, they can sell to.
Yeah.
The law changed. By the time was too late. They made a decision to. I wish they had done like France. France in Europe produced a lot at one time in the 60s. They produced a lot of nuclear plant, and they would selling the power to Spain to every country around.
Out of the
Because they were-
17 reactors they were building, and they already had one, Browns Ferry was the only one that was
And
completed.
Sequoia.
But they only
Sequoia
had,
was one
they
reactor.
end up with 3 reactors.
Wow. And then, so when you were in Tennessee, you were able to work in the same plant as a couple.
Because I transferred to the
Yeah.
division engineering this
Well,
time.
when I think Mamita, right, you got an opportunity in Crystal River,
Crystal River.
but they did not allow
No.
a couple. So
Yes.
then, Papa, what did you have to do?
No, I say,
in the
don't worry
meantime?
don't worry about it. You go over there and I can find myself to work.
And
over
there,
Little did you know that Crystal River
It
had
was
nothing else.
no, I did this work before when I came to for engineering consulting firm in Tampa, but Tampa is about 70 miles
Sure.
away
Yeah.
each way, So that was dangerous to go to live so far away.
Yeah.
needless to say that I was again the only female engineer, and it was not well liked. But
Yeah.
This is so funny because I was hired by the division director because my boss, the guy that was my boss later, wasn't there. If not, he would have been the person that interviewed me. He wouldn't have.
Wow.
It
Incredible.
was very
And
discriminatory.
this is now the late 80s,
Uh-huh.
right? And so, Papa, because you couldn't work at the plant, you
Yes.
started eventually your own business,
No,
right?
yeah. I know we bought also property. We bought property.
Yeah.
I remember buying a lot where from that was beautiful. And the guy said, well, listen, I bought, it cost me $60,000. I am, my mother tried to build a house for my mother, but now we are getting too old. I don't think we're going to do it. If you give me 65,000, I will sell you. So I remember we made a trip to Spain. I put a thing for sale by owner. And then my cousin say, I got a very successful entrepreneur in Spain, my cousin, and then he say, what you do is you just put a very high price, put 100,000, something very nice. Somebody will get it, you never know.
Yeah.
No, we can come down, but
Yeah.
put a very high price. Certainly, a British tour went over there, and there was a British guy, they saw the water from a piece of land, the latte, and I say, I'd like to buy. And they mean, how much? You said $110,000. I
Wow.
said, if I bring you a check for $110,000 for this British tourist, from a local bank, yeah, you will sell that and you will give me the commission 10%.
Yeah.
$100,000 for you, $35,000 profit. Sure, why not?
In just a few months,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we bought another property in Ocala. There was an auction about property over there, and also we made, I remember now exactly, but we made probably 30 or 40%.
Yeah,
that was
that's great.
It was a 5 dormitory house, yes.
Was it strange to suddenly not be in an engineering environment?
Yeah,
Like,
That is in life, you have to be a chameleon. You have to change your hat and be a fighter during the morning. And night you be a policeman. You can do that if you
Yeah.
have the
the
ego,
drive and the
resolve
ambition.
and
Yeah.
confident on yourself. So we have a few properties over there, and we may a good living. You know,
Yeah.
we thought we live with a salary, and what I can get buying property
Extra
over
on
there,
investment and savings.
Yeah,
and
we also bought a couple of duplex in with another guy from TVA that was used to be my boss over there in Tampa, and we bought a thing, and then we rented, so it was,
Yeah. And then how did you ultimately own a children's clothing company?
because I got contacting, there was something that weird for a brand of shoes in Spain that is called Hey, yeah. And they were selling very well in Miami, in other places. We just went to, we were in Florida, in Tennessee. We used the opportunity to go to Miami, and I buy the shoes, that brand of shoes. And then I say, hey, listen, I'm moving over here. I think I could help you to. You have to be practical. If there's an opportunity to make money, I will look for. And
Sure.
I don't the type of arrogant guy. I is problem solving.
Yeah.
Engineering problem solving. So I talk to them. I say, okay, I'll tell you the sample. Show the sample. Okay. Never saw anything or sold anything in my life. But anyway, I just went to the shoe department. They have a section
Wow.
for children.
Yeah.
And I say, listen, I've got friends over here in Spain that do, Spain very famous children shoes, and he used to go to Miami to buy the shoes, but they have good quality leather inside with design. I think that place like you would like to drive. I'm talking about something like this. I got from my pocket one shoes. So the leather inside, okay, here you probably have nothing like this. You probably import from some place. Well, you give a try. And so
Wow.
I start from here to there.
Yeah, and then people would also stop you, right, with like, because you dress Michael and Michelle so well,
Yeah,
that people would stop and like
Yeah,
ask
I
where you got their
remember being in
shoes.
the
They're like
ladies'
walking
in the ladies' bathroom and have maybe Michelle or Lisa
Yeah.
with the shoes, and people see those shoes pass by. Where did you get those shoes?
Oh yeah, I mean, you both kept shoes for Anaya and Luca,
Yes.
or like you kept shoes for our future children. And years later, when we would walk, especially Anaya had these like red leather shoes.
Yes.
We would in every size, and she loved them so much. But we lived in Miami too. But we would get stopped everywhere we went. Like people wanted those shoes. So
because they're
really,
European.
Yeah.
And then what happened that they
And also because of the shoes, we started selling socks too.
Yeah,
Because-
makes sense.
Yeah, because
You
these
need like a
socks,
really thin, pretty sock to
yeah,
go.
very, very
Yeah.
high quality. Punto Blanco USA is the #1 socks
Yes.
manufacturer in
Yeah.
Spain.
Yes.
So,
Let me tell you one thing that I remember when I came from the first consulting firm that I worked in Jacksonville, Florida. When they started giving job, I was able to do, because I am very competitive person by nature. I go over there and say, if I can understand these people, I plan to be here very as soon as possible, the best and the fastest one.
Yeah.
Quality and quantity, production and
Do you want to make the story about coffee?
no, and they no. Yeah, but then they say obviously later on they say me, you know what the problem with you, Juan Cecilia? You were born in the wrong country.
Yeah,
You know,
interesting.
why you were so hard? I go, I never had an opportunity like here.
Oh.
What you can do to the
But
I can do this.
But I wanted her to how you introduce yourself to the shoes.
Oh,
yes.
we were in a place. I used to be,
Child.
yeah, very physically pretty good,
Yeah.
But I was always a little shy. So anyway,
Which I can't imagine.
yeah, I never imagine that. Oh, if I would have that time, the ability that I have to communicate today, I would have been much higher in level. I managed still, when we were in TVA, 2 levels higher than Loretta. I was the lead, we live over there. By the time, because the cancellation of nuclear plant, my title was a lead materials engineer.
Yeah.
For this, we were nuclear engineer, technical supervisor, That was the technical level, C4, and then we were allowed to about 6.
Yeah.
But many time, even in Jacksonville, there's been working, and this you were born in the wrong country because I tried going to college at night to start getting and see that what I was able to do is you have been engineer in this country. Can you
Yeah.
26-year-old?
Yeah.
4 years ago you have been. So anyway. The thing is, the few things in America, the impossible is possible over here. And also the ability and the desire to do what you want to do. So I'm usually the kind of guy that went to bed thinking that tomorrow morning I want to be doing this when I go to work. What is very important to me.
Yeah.
So I was very dedicated.
Yeah.
And many people don't put up with the challenge. They say, you want to do it yourself. So yeah, I did enjoy America a lot.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I think like first generation children, so me, Michael, Michelle, we we've grown up with parents that have left their homes and have established a life for themselves in the United States from nothing. Both of you came, it's very different than our experience. Like we were born here, our parents were successful, but how did you instill in your children, because I feel like as immigrant children, we firsthand see our parents working, they're dedicated to their family, they're working all the time. As you said, you're a chameleon, you look at opportunities, you don't let it go. There is also, as a child, you feel like pressure too, like I have to work as hard as my parents, but we also know that we received more than our parents, like in many ways. And so how did you instill those values with your children? Because they're also in a different culture than you.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Well, we got 2 children. I got 2 children from my first marriage. I'm married 2 children with Loretta, my second wife. What happened is that both all the 4 of them I had degree went through university. I had degree, but the last 2 with Loretta became doctor. Not every woman has 2 children.
Sure.
One medical doctor and the other one is a
lawyer and a doctor, right?
Yeah. But it's always they would tell you as a foreigner coming to this country and be successful. Your children will be very successful, more successful than you, because you have to struggle. They don't. Usually for us foreigners, education is a passport for poverty. You get education, you live well or you live. But the problem, they say...
And you also instill in your children the importance of education, because it was your passport from poverty.
Exactly. And I was very proud when as a matter of fact, when I came in 1969 and found out that you can go to school at night, I get my engineering degree, but I told my father I will not go back to Spain until I got my degree under my arm.
Yeah.
I had to graduate.
It was so instilled in you.
I remember a friend, there was a Cuban friend that usually had a beer. I said, listen, one day say, we're not going to see each other anymore, only bye-bye. Why? Because I need to see my parents getting old, and I need to get to work. I paid for my study. I get my engineering degree without costing my father a penny.
Wow.
Okay, I had to work even when we graduated, working and study, working consulting field.
And Mamita, you also had so many. How many?
Mamita was
4 jobs at a time.
Well, she was, but she was a different building. We were not very like.
No, but even for you to go through school, you also
support
herself.
Yeah, I had my aunt that when I came to the United States, that helped me out. I mean, I could live in her house, but that was it.
But I
had to work, I have to go at night to school.
Yeah.
But going back to the children, I want to tell you one thing that maybe a good hint for you, Michael. You have to keep that interest that you have right now with Kumon, with the kids. That was my key with Michael and Michelle.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always easy. Okay?
No, you have to fight with them.
We had to fight with them. With Michelle, not as a kid. Michelle as a kid was pretty easy going to school. But then later, when she was going to the university, all she wanted was to party and this and that. And I had to be very hard with her.
Yeah.
I had to tell her, you have to bring me your grades every semester.
Yeah.
And if you have passed your classes, you can continue the next semester. If you don't, that's it.
And I used to add, Remember, Walmart always need people. So as soon as you fail, we save a lot of money. You want to go to
We'll
Walmart.
have to hear Michelle's
Walmart is
version
waiting
of
for you.
this
Walmart waiting for
story.
you. And she
So-
didn't like that, but she went many times and said that.
Well, and with Michael was the other way around. Michael was when he was little, when
Yeah.
it was very difficult.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to pretty much to get him to school, you have to dress him up, put him in the stop of the school bus, and then he will go to school. And
Yeah.
then, but then later when he changed when he went to basically all he wanted to study was history.
yeah.
So when he went to study history and he went in that trip to
Jordan,
Jordan, that's when he changed.
yeah,
And he flew, it happened the same time that America was Iraq war.
yeah,
And he was over there in the first class because there was no seat with our mileage and extra money.
yeah.
We bought him for
The ticket for
ticket
first
in
class.
first class. But he need to go to fly that.
Wow.
And then what happened? He was with Peter Jennings with all the star of the
Oh
American
my
television first class.
Yeah.
They were going over there for the Iraq to
Wow.
report about
Incredible.
the first day of the Iraq
Yeah.
war. Yes. Yeah.
So now it's probably interesting because what do you think of when you see your grandchildren's generation? Because now you're at a point where you've experienced your own,
Uh-huh.
you've raised your children, and now you're seeing your children
Yeah.
raise their
But
children.
The Bible tell you, people will tell you here in the United States. I remember guys in engineering over there in TVA, they say, you will be successful, your children will be more successful, you take care of educating, but your grandchildren will be as born as ours.
But I'm glad to see that it's not gonna happen, at least with part of the family.
Yeah.
Because I can see, for instance, Michelle and the two girls, they're really handling
Yeah.
them through school.
Oh, yeah.
And they look like they're gonna, and I see you and Michael going to Kumons and all these things to make it, you're just making it easier for the future.
Yeah,
Because
we
they have.
always want our kids to have whatever resources
They're in the ground,
they
they
can.
can eat,
Yeah.
they will fly.
So
Yeah.
I have no doubt that, for instance, that Anaya will be something
Yeah.
one day.
And
And
Luca will at least be a comedian.
yeah, Luca, you will make him get there somehow,
Nah, he's
Let me tell you something
comedian.
about engineering school in university here in this country. Engineering school is a field where 50% of the people of the students, they start, don't finish.
Yeah,
But I had to finish because I had to see my parent. So yeah, I sacrificed. I remember coming to my apartment on Friday and not leaving until Monday morning because I need to study here or there. It was a really sacrifice, but I know there was
yeah,
a investment they had to do. I
Yeah.
had no choice.
yeah. It's so interesting because sometimes I think like when I grew up, when Michael grew up,
Mhm,
we saw, even though obviously we weren't part of you leaving your country,
mhm.
we saw that you were far away from your parents.
Mhm.
We saw, like, we experienced you being in a new country, even though we were born here and kind of learning how to assimilate in many ways. But for our children, they're so lucky
They're already
also.
here.
They're already here, but I'm grateful that they have such a close relationship with their grandparents
Mhm.
because they know that they came from a different country. They hear the stories that you tell
Yeah.
them. I always worry that or as you go farther in generations, like our children's children and their children's children, it becomes so far removed, that experience.
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
always thinking about
Only go to the children.
yeah,
The
I was always
grandchildren-
thinking about how do
the
you
grandchildren.
instill the value set of
Mhm.
like, hard work and determination and, education is so important. And, because I think there's, no matter where you're coming from, that immigrant experience, there's a very common thread of like, there's similar characteristics of those that were successful.
They-
So we're always trying to
Yes.
instill that.
Your parents do a lot of difference in your perspective of life. My perspective, even though my life has been so different than my parents, was that I always had it in my mind that I will go to university, I will get a degree one day.
Sure.
Ever since I was a kid, I knew there was no other choice because I was raised in the belief that education is the passport from poverty.
Yeah.
And that was instead of me. And I did, and Michelle and Michael, sometimes I have to put some strength and force to it, but they did it. And now it's your turn to put that strength and
Oh,
force
yeah,
on them.
absolutely. And it's interesting because we're just facing a different type of America, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think my parents and you, probably when you had your children here, all you wanted was them to kind of assimilate, right? You call them Michael and Michelle,
Yeah.
so they didn't
Yeah.
have like foreign
Foreign
names. And it's interesting because this generation wants like a connection to their heritage because
Yeah.
they feel like it's disappearing.
Yes.
So we'll purposely, have some kind of like name that connects them to their history, but we want to make sure they're learning Spanish, or we want to make sure they're speaking another language. It's almost like as our parents wanted us to make sure we felt comfortable in America, we want our children to feel comfortable here, but we want them to know that they are different. Like that their family was like part of this immigrant experience. So it's just very interesting to see kind of the difference in,
And
parenting.
you just mentioned something that is very important, is learning another language. It's very important. As many languages as you can, the better. We can see that in Frederick, his nephew in France, different country, different society, but why is he so successful? Because he speaks 4 or 5 languages.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's also a credit to the education system that's different than here. Like, I know at least in India and in other countries in Europe, there's such an emphasis that language is also like a passport. It's so different.
It's a door.
Yeah,
It's a
but
door.
not only that, is that like when I started working in Jacksonville, Florida, my first job over there, people say, we love you as a draftsman or the designer, detailer, or bridge with the bridge highway, thing like that. But we will love you more as an engineer because we need more engineers.
Yeah.
So like I said before, I was people going at night to start algebra. I said, what you have to do? Start at night and then you do part-time. The company will pay for the tuition. For the
Yeah.
So we started working. I was very brave because I didn't speak enough English, but I know if I put my effort studying here a degree in English, it will be very easy later on. But do I have enough energy to do a second career here?
Yeah.
No, better start here as fast as I can and continue here.
Yeah.
And
And you did, in many ways, even though it wasn't on like plans, you did reinvent yourself. Like you had a successful clothing, a children's clothing company.
I was able to
you know?
adapt and make money.
Yeah.
Because in Crystal River, there was no engineering firm.
Yeah.
There is no engineering firm today.
Yeah.
And driving 70 miles away, it was too much for me. I had a engineering company over there. They always could work for them. But because I always work, even when I went in Atlanta, Georgia Tech, I also went to engineering firm. I work a few hours every day and study. Difficult thing, working and study,
Yeah.
But
also your career choice allowed you also to help raise the kids. Like you were home, and I know, I credit you so much with, it's amazing to see all the things that Michael and Michelle know how to do on their own, because they always said, my dad taught me how to do this. Michael's like, when I was 9, I used to carry the flashlight and, we would do those things. And I'm sure he didn't necessarily enjoy it at the time, but you were teaching them life skills that they now teach us. I think that's also a gift you gave your children, that they feel confident that when they're in certain situations, like fixing a tire, all these like basic life skills.
Loretta saying to me about the shoe. We were across a store over there in Knoxville, Tennessee. And it was
before he started the business.
Okay.
And before those people said to me, all you have to do to go to a show, you pay for the show, you put the thing over there, pay orders, and we deliver.
Let me just say one thing. Let me just say one thing. I always had this idea that you have to try different things. Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw the possibility of success on the Spanish shoes, being a woman and being the quality that. So I thought that maybe we could have a business of shoes here.
Yeah.
And so I was trying, it was before he even said anything, to instill on him that idea. And then we decided to go to a shoe store in Knoxville, Tennessee. Now,
Yeah, I
push a
always,
little bit by me.
we was across, we were two nuclear engineers working over there in TVA,
Yeah.
making a lot of money. I'm trying to start business because we start closing nuclear plant and say we need to have parachute.
You always need
Just in
something.
case,
Yes, that's smart.
just in case. And so we were in front of this store. It was the name.
Coffee.
And I say, we need to go over there. I always in my mind what to do. Probably there was a reserve, a shy person, and just I know perfectly how to do it, but I was never can do like an actor, be a role in the, and then 30 minutes later, this is a different role.
Yeah.
And perform that kind of thing. I was not to, that was not, but I know how to go over there. And that was when I said, if you don't go, we have one shoe in our hand. If you don't go, I will go. And I said, no, I am the man. I got to do it. And I thought,
Nothing like a good gender role.
exactly,
guilt.
I am the man, So anyway, so I went over there, and I knew you go over there and we say, after looking around, you have nice story here, we choose it. As a matter of fact, I got children, do I know what you have? That's very nice. That I'm, and then, I say the way introduce myself. I'm Juan Cecilia. I'm from Spain. I'm, that we buy European shoes for our children because it's a quality that I say you don't have. But I think that, you will sell those things here. I will buy from you. But also, I can tell you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you already have the product
my
in
pocket,
hand.
my wallet,
It's like a magic trick. It's right out of the.
I'm talking about fancy like this. I showed them a sample. There was a leather inside, leather outside, something that they don't use. To make it was very standard. Buster Brown was everything, and Buster Brown started importing from China.
Uh-huh.
And was a rough, the leather, it was not, this is, they were looking at, why don't you give a try? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put a few shoes over there, see people who look.
You just put an idea in there.
Because I'm sure that you have a section of your society that don't buy this kind of shoe. They can afford it, would love it to have, but you don't have it.
Yeah.
So they are limited to buy you what you have.
Yeah, you basically did door-to-door sale.
Yes, so
Yeah.
so the guy just said, okay, let's do something. Like this one, like this one. So they type the fair order.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
from there we start doing this. Of course, Tennessee is no advanced place. They were selling those shoes in New York. They had an agent in New York.
Yeah.
But knowing it's a matter of fact, no, they had, and people had a customer in Miami.
In Miami.
1, 2, 3 customers. He says, yeah, but we could sell more, but they can live in New York, so they
Yeah.
can go over there to the show in New York, shoe show, and buy from them.
Yeah.
But probably you can, and that's what I did. But there I learned. That's the case of the over there, and from then I changed my life because I can put like a mask in your face and a different person, and I can deliver. And I go to place, and today where I never seen, and I know how to introduce myself, smiling, and
Yeah.
things like that, and do what I want.
Yeah.
But I broke that
The barrier.
barrier. I want to bury with that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I said many times, if I had been younger and had been, I would have been very successful because
But you were very successful.
well, the opportunity is you have to go and get there. You got 17 guys. Most of them can do the job. You are advertising for engineering, for everything. But if they want to say, by the way, you got many people here, but I want to tell you what I am.
Mhm.
You can select me, but I'm very competitive. I will be the best 10%. I have a degree in Spain, and I have a record that you can call, and they will tell you it's one because I'm that way. I just want to, and I will make your company be more profitable, and I will just give me check for my reference first.
Yeah. But I started wanting to do this podcast originally to hear about, because I had just kind of started my own company and hearing kind of the entrepreneurial journeys of others, because I do think it takes a certain type of person
Yes.
to start your own business, whatever business
Yeah.
it
Whatever
is.
it
Like
That's
you have to have a combination of ambition, persistence. You cannot let failure scare you. You have to be willing to pivot.
Because you are 100% invested yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not
And
that-
you have your vision. So,
Exactly.
and you just
And you
have to
do your
convince
best.
other
If you
people.
are competitive, you
Yeah.
are trying to do your best. You don't want to waste time. You want to make sure you can you're not interested. When somebody say, well, no. I was selling something, that, for example, oh, could you reduce, could you behave? Listen, this is not for you. You're
Yeah,
looking for
yeah,
that.
that's okay, and you have to have the conviction
Absolutely.
of like who your
Absolutely.
customer
Yeah, I
is.
can do that.
I'm not gonna change what
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
produce
I was
based on
I
that.
was in TVA and we cancelled a nuclear plant and we had a diesel generator that we pay for nuclear use emergency. Reactor building in case of an accident require a lot of water to cool. The core of the reactor uranium, etc. And they were selling to, and somebody said, we can sell this unit for $200,000. And then I went to the top of my boss, the head of the department, investment recovery project. And I say, you know what, it's a crime to sell something that pays so much money. We need to find somebody. And then there was a company, well, I remember now, engineering company that was working a nuclear plant and they needed a diesel generator. Okay, and they found out. And then I told that guy, I told my boss, my supervisor, in fact, tell him not participate because he's not a salesman. He's not an engineering salesman. He cannot, he will sell for wherever, And I think we can get much more money for that,
Yeah.
$200,000. And then they say, okay, give a try. And this company wanted to buy from us and sell to the nuclear plant. This 2 million thing. So I went over there. I say, well, how much you want? And they say, I think I can sell for $300,000 to see if I can sell for $300,000. And they tell the guy, $650,000 is a gift, it's a stealing for you guys. Then we use all the record, Veena, brand new and used with all the components, the generator, everything. So anyway, but there is one thing. I got the people that are interested, and you have to be fast. I am the engineer in charge of this equipment, but I got pressure from other people. It's a matter of fact, the institution in the United States government, part of the United States government, they get fuel, oil in the ground, and those are salt mine in the southwest part of the United States. We want to put the thing as a store in case of emergency. We can get the empty place underground. So the guy wanted to do that. They were part of the United States government. But the Tennessee Valley Authority is an independent corporation of the federal government. We owe to the ratepayer, not to the government. It's an institution created to develop the area. 1936. I will talk to this guy, $650,000. He said, well, can you give a deposit? And the guy said, no, we don't do that, but we can pressure. This is $2 million. It's a stealing. You could sell for whatever you want, So anyway, I managed to do that. The difference between $200,000 and $650,000 is more money than I accumulate all the year because I started working for TVA for $15,500 a year. So maybe over $1,500 or $150,000 is more profit, and I managed to sell it. But in business, you have to show your angle, the opportunity. But you have to be fast, you have to do that, you have to prepare. This is a goal. You have to be so interested that they will join you in. Don't miss the opportunity. You can do that. And so anyway, I managed to do that. And there was also another thing. When I was in TVA, I joined there was a department of college recruitment. And I spoke Spanish, so they went to many university. I said, listen, we'd like to help you there because you go to Miami, you go to places, and you don't speak the language, and you can sell. And 1 year, I hired the people they interviewed, they recommended all this thing, 32 engineers. And people told me one time, you know how much is our budget, and you know how much we accomplish, all that money that we spend with 20 people working here, and we divide by the number that you. And I never was part of them. I was just an engineering design. They gave me my time to go to university. But because of what I did it, because I got a booklet from the company. And when you are a Spanish, anybody who has Spanish name is part of your family. So I read this guy, mechanical engineering graduating, electrical engineering graduating this year. This is the one they need to talk. So I went to the hotel over there. We went to recruit for the next day in the university, Georgia Tech or University of Florida, Gainesville, and I started calling those people in the evening, calling them, or even massive, they were not over there. Listen, Tennessee Valley Authority, we have a great opportunity. We don't have desk for people to see. We have challenge. We had a lot of problems with engineers.
Yeah.
Engineers, they are eager to do that. So you're looking for an easy place, don't talk to us. We need really this kind of engineer. They are willing to progress and be one day great engineer because the opportunity to learn is there. So anyway, in the phone, and then the other way they went to Puerto Rico also. I hired 32. We
Wow.
hired Puerto Rico, but 32. There was, but that because I will do everything like that. Only happened that I would like to have more Spanish over there, people
Yeah.
with a good degree, and I was able to. But I worked harder than anybody. For me, it was no abundado there. Abundado. No. I want to see what is graduating. I want to get to talk to those people.
I just realized, Papa, that the reason we get along so well is that we've had actually a lot of parallels in our careers because right after
Where is it
college,
that you were born here?
right after college, I did retail buying for Bloomingdale's. And so I was buying for children's clothes for boys size 2 through 20 and then girls 7 through 16. So like I remember when I met Michael, I had just left Bloomingdale's a year before that. So when he told me that his family had a children's clothing company, that had been my world for like 2 years.
You had something.
Yeah, and then even when you're talking about recruiting, that's what I do and did now as executive search, like, selling kind of an opportunity, looking at CVs, and even just starting our own business. We've had like a lot of parallels in our professional career. Okay, so my last question for both of you is, both of you have had very successful careers, nuclear engineers, your family owned a company, you've raised a beautiful family, you have children that have been successful in the United States, you're watching your grandchildren grow up here, all doing their own different paths. If you could talk to your young self now, what advice would you give them? So what would you give your young self? Imagine like if you could speak to yourself, maybe when you were a teenager or even younger than that, what would you say to your young self?
I tell you one thing. I started the conversation with one thing. My mother and my father told me, you have to go to college, you need an education. That is the first thing. You need an education for doing anything. With an education, you can do anything later on. You can even depart from what you say. You say that even like myself, for instance, once I retired, I completely retired, but you have an education.
Sure.
You can use it again. My son, Michael, actually made me start a new career, basically, when I went to Abu Dhabi. And then that was the best.
So you're doing nuclear consulting then?
Nuclear consulting. And that's when I made more money in my life.
Yeah.
All the work.
Don't work for any company, work for yourself if you can.
All the work I did before was nothing compared to what you can do.
And now Luca can proudly tell people that his grandparents deal with nuclear missiles.
I know. But the thing about it was Michael, because I remember I was already retired from TVA.
Sure.
So I wasn't thinking of working or anything. And then I all of a sudden get this offer from Virginia Power to go and work for 3 months for them. And I look at us, but Michael was there, say, I don't really want to go work again for Virginia Power. And but it was as a contractor, it was not anymore as an employee. And Michael said, Mom, why don't you try? You have nothing to lose. You go over there, and if you don't like it, you leave. You know what I mean? And I said, well,
that's a benefit of the younger generation telling the older generation.
Yes,
like, what?
It happened more than once.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I did that. And because of that, I made more money in those 10 years than I made.
Incredible.
Incredible.
So you would tell your young self education, anything else?
Education, and don't, I guess the education and look for opportunity. That is it. Because then once I was there, I was able to go to Korea, Abu Dhabi, and because my background if you have an education, you have a background in something.
Sure.
Okay? And then I was able, let's say, what did I do in South Korea? Just sell the procedures of the United States.
Yeah.
Those people had nuclear plants, a lot of nuclear plants, but they didn't have the procedures that we
They
have.
didn't have the
Yeah.
Nuclear Regulatory Commission that
Yeah.
tell you how to do things, and
Yeah.
everybody in the world was because very strict. Everyone is
So I went there to teach him how to make
Are
procedures.
we doing okay, or are we taking risks? Can you evaluate this area? We want to do this. Are we okay? Wait a minute. Start looking what we want to do. Okay. If you will be under the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, you want to be the safety in the world in nuclear,
Yeah, you taught them.
nuclear power
essentially.
plant. I'll tell you what you have to do. This you have to do, you have to do that.
Yeah,
It was so strict that Florida had to enter the underground nuclear plant in South Korea,
Oh, yeah.
nuclear facility.
That was the most secretive place I
Yeah.
ever.
So they designed, and they had to give the passport over there and pick it up on the way out.
yeah. But it allowed you also to travel to all these places
Yeah.
that you
Because she
never
worked
imagined.
in an area, there is a
So
regulation.
niche. Yeah,
Regulation.
too.
With
You
the
have
government.
a procedure.
Yeah.
No, you have to go this way. It's a matter of fact, after she finished, they say, can you stay a couple of months longer and teach the people prepare a training?
You know,
to train our people.
I'm proud when I hear the news nowadays that basically the Emirates have 4 nuclear plants. Those 4 nuclear plants, I help them with the procedures for
Wow.
that. So, you know what I
Incredible.
mean?
Yeah,
It's incredible.
Because
But
they wanted to get water from the Gulf
Yeah.
over there, and
So-
then get the water because
so
they
you
don't have
have
water
an
there.
education and then use
Drinkable
your
water.
education
Yeah.
to.
yeah. Abuela, what would you tell your young self?
Well, don't be afraid to get a goal that is difficult because nothing is not difficult will not worthwhile your effort. So don't. If I made it, you can get it much easier. I can speaking much English. I spoke some, but not to go to university. University here is very competitive. I'm like I said, you have to work very hard. Like I said, Friday until Monday would not leave. You have to go for it. You have to do the best. You do your best, you have no problem, and you know that. So you try hard because mediocre they can be mediocre, but you with a foreign name, speaking with an accent, you better be good.
Yeah.
Because they will not, first thing. But many times people told me because my maybe physical appearance, my spirit, my thing, like I was one of them. Many people, I was very welcome in America. Many times, like I told you before, you were born in the wrong country,
Yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to work over there, but there was no job until after military service, started working in Madrid in the company, the Italian engineering company, they built the largest floor house in Spain. After I came to America 3 or 4 months, there's no job. They had to close and back to Italy.
well,
I mean, there was the
Yeah.
time of no opportunity. A
Yeah.
lot of people ready, but no opportunity.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have something similar to my brother who is a mechanic, studied mechanic in Spain and over there in a school, and went to France and became very successful because that's the toughness life in Spain, the lack of opportunity. It was the rocket that put us in the moon.
yeah,
Then a place where you can compete and show who you are,
sure.
and then this is a like bullfighter. This
Yeah.
is like real bull. It's dangerous, but I can do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Proudly.
yeah,
Like I say, we to sleep, tomorrow I'm gonna be doing this. A dedication that is not typical.
sure.
But for people that they were well prepared, studying, all the thing, and don't have the opportunity, you have to, for you is
You had a good opportunity to, on your podcast, to sell those abilities for
Mhm.
people that they can develop and be successful.
Yeah, yeah.
well, look at the people that find that. Oh, they managed to be,
Exactly. I mean, I think that's part of it. It's so helpful to hear the stories of
Mhm.
other people and just to know that, that everyone has their own journey and
But-
how they got there.
But you have to have determination
Sure.
and don't be afraid of sacrifice.
Yeah. If you can believe it, I've known both of you for now almost 20
Mhm.
years, which is incredible because I met you when I was starting law school. And we've, even though my parents, of course, instilled in me so many things up until that point, Michael and I were with you for almost like 10, 15 years,
Mhm.
just down the street. And so in many ways, I was so lucky to have parents like you
Yeah.
to really show me just as my parents did, but
Mhm.
just the daily efforts of what it means to really be persistent. And, I was lucky to see, sometimes I'd go and help Papa with like the
Yeah,
shoes.
yeah.
I also saw you close your business and then
Yeah.
I saw you leave start a new career.
Because people who bought shoes from me say, Spain have beautiful dresses. Why don't you do something? I would like to buy from you. You doing something there? I can. And then I start thinking Spain was very expensive, but I can get a sample and copy them in Colombia, South America, and make a better profit. And from South America, we move to China. We can go for very little money. The problem with Chinese, Chinese are very tricky. They are not for quality. They are for produce a lot of things. And when you do expensive things, you have to have quality. You have to be on top of them.
Yeah. I remember even like when I lived with you guys, I remember you designing and looking at these shoes and like putting so much thought because it was your company.
Yes.
Like if the quality was not up to par, that you had to make tough decisions. But I just benefited so much in all of these years and being on my own with you. We even lived together for a year without Michael or Michelle. It was me and Kristen with you guys. But I'm so grateful that I had both of you as, another set of parents, because I think, your journeys are different than my parents, but very similar in its determination. And I saw how much you gave your children, and it only inspired us to give to our children. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm more grateful that you did an impromptu podcast.
My advice to you is don't give up.
Yeah.
Proceed with your dream.
Yes.
Well, thank you for doing a podcast, and hopefully you'll come back one day.